Come diagnose a no start concern on this 2003 Monte Carlo with me. So this thing was towed into us, obviously. So I came out here yesterday because the window was down and they had it trash bagged up. So I got the window up for them so it wouldn't rain in it. And the battery's dead to start off with, but that's not all the issues this thing has. And just a quick tip, anytime you got a dead battery and you're trying to provide power to the vehicle you're working on with a jump box like this one, it's usually best to disconnect the battery first. That way the dead battery isn't pulling on this, as well as all the electronics of the vehicle. So now that I've got this hooked up, let's go ahead and scan this thing and see what's in it. So this is how the vehicle looks starting out. I'm not sure if somebody has very recently done some work in this area. Maybe they replaced the passlock sensor or something. I don't really have any history on the vehicle or what happened before it got here. So let's go ahead and scan it and see if there's any codes. So right to start with, it does look like we have a few messages and lights on. So we got traction control, the brake light, ABS. It does say security in this message center, but I feel like I remember these older vehicles would do that even if there wasn't an issue with the security system. As far as codes go, it doesn't really look like we have any that are relevant to it not starting. We've got a few, and EBCM for some wheel speed sensors codes, and we got like one in the OnStar module, but OnStar is not even available for this old of a system anymore. So let's look at some data. So right here I've got the crank request signal and the starter relay command data PID pulled up. So I'm going to try to crank it. So you see we get a crank request signal, but the starter relay is not being commanded on. And it's been a while since I've worked on one of these, but I think based off of this information for the theft system, that is not preventing the vehicle from starting. Taking a look at the transmission data, it looks like the internal mode switch is showing us in park, so that shouldn't be preventing it from starting either. So at this point, I'm not entirely sure what's keeping this thing from starting. All right, so after doing a little bit of investigation and reading up on how the system works on this vehicle, because it's been a while since I've worked on this particular type of issue with the vehicle this old. But what I figured out is I believe the theft system is preventing the car from cranking up. So let me show you one more quick data reading real quick, and I'll show you what I think I found so far. All right, so looking at the theft data in the body control module, you can see we have security state, a security lamp state says it's on. So anytime that says it's on, I believe the theft system is active and it's preventing the vehicle from cranking. At least that's what I gathered from what I read. And this passlock data voltage right here says 4.998. So technically that's supposed to be a value between 0 and 5 volts. And the fact that it's 5 volts all the time is telling me there's something wrong, which is why we can't get the theft to work in order for the vehicle to crank up and run. So let me get this ignition switch out and let's take a look at that. So I do believe all this stuff is broken up and taken apart like this from where somebody has recently worked on it. So kind of sucks that the car's all messed up like this, but it is also kind of nice because I don't have to worry about breaking it, especially with something this old. There's always a good chance you're going to tear something up, which I mean it just is what it is. Stuff gets old and brittle. I feel like they cross-threaded that. I do feel like I recall from working on these in the past that getting to this wasn't very fun. All right, so I think we've got almost all the panels we need off. I think this metal one right here has to come off too. I need an extension. I'm gonna grab that real quick. All right, last bolt. There we go. That's out the way. And now hopefully this ignition switch will fit down in here. we can get a look at what we're working with. There we go. Okay, so I believe this right here is our problem. So that is not supposed to be there. This is not factory. This actually looks like one of those connectors I've seen advertised online. Real cheap, you don't have to crimp anything. I think you just squeeze the wires down on it. So let's see, let's get this cylinder out and do some circuit testing. So it should just come out, there we go, just like that. This is our cylinder. That does not look like it's been replaced, I don't believe, at least not real recent. And then our circuits right here, there we go. All right, cool. So let me go get multimeter and we'll do some circuit testing. So I do believe this connection is going to be our issue, right? So all right, so the middle pin is ground. This outer one right here is supposed to be a 12-volt reference. And looking at the multimeter, we've got 0 volts. But I'll take my ground terminal, use a different ground. Now have almost 11 volts, which is probably close to battery voltage. My jump box is about dead. And let's test this one. This one should be 5 volts, I think. Let's see. No, maybe not. But either way, I'll tell you what, let's just go right here. What do we have at these two? Which may not have nothing if this is where the poor connection is at. It's actually going to be hard to get these terminals to stay. Yeah, we have 0 volts right there too. So imagine it's just a poor cramp right here on this wire. Maybe I can get this thing off and we can take a look at it better. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this thing connected back together. And if this fixes it, I mean, that's great. But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what they cut these two wires for to begin with. Like, I don't know of anything you would wire in place right here that would be beneficial in any way. Not between the 12 volts and the ground. If they went between like the signal and 5 volts, or the signal and ground, and like figured out what resistance value they needed to keep from having to replace the ignition cylinder, that would make sense, I think. But I don't know. We'll see what we got right after I finish getting this connected, and then we'll put the key cylinder back into the case, and I got to hook the jump box back up as well. So here we go. All right, got the jump box hooked up, everything back together. We'll get lucky. Of course not, can't be that easy. Let's look at some more data. So it looks like our passlock data voltage is still the same reading. So there is a few more circuit tests I can do. Let me go get my jumper wires and let's try one more thing real quick. All right, so testing our circuits again. We've got 10 volts between the 12 volt reference and the ground, which I know is still 10 and not 12, but I don't think it's enough to throw this thing off like it is. And between our ground and 5 volts, we have 5 volts like it's supposed to be. So I think if we take and ground out the 5 volts, I should be able to look at the scan tool data, and hopefully it shows that security system data change. So let me get my other camera. All right, back at our security data, the passlock data voltage is now 0 volts. So since I shorted that 5 volt circuit to ground, it pulled that 5 volts down, And that lets us know basically that it needs a passlock sensor, because at this point we have the 12 volts, we have the ground, and the 5 volts also measured fine. And when we jump to 5 volts, it pulls it down. So everything external from the passlock sensor is working. So the sensor itself must just be messed up. So at this point, that basically just means the passlock sensor is bad, right? Because we have our 12 volt circuit's good, ground circuit's good, 5 volt reference is good. When we ground out the 5 volt reference, the data shows in the BCM, so that lets you know everything external to the passlock sensor is good, and the sensor itself just has an internal fault causing this concern. And that was really a very common issue on these, I remember from back in the day. So let's see if we can get one and fix this car. All right, I've got a new passlock sensor here now. So for the time being, I'm just going to transfer over this key cylinder, and then once I'm sure it's fixed, I will code the new one that came with it. Here we go. There we go. All right, let's reinstall this thing. Nope. There we go. All right, so it should be connected now. Let's go hook up the jump box, look at some data one more time, and then I'll have to do a theft relearn to fix this thing. So now looking at our data, the passlock voltage is 1.6 volts instead of 5 volts. So I believe this is going to fix the problem. All I have to do now is a theft relearn. All right, my first 10-minute cycle just ended. The security light just went out, and we might get lucky and it crank up on this first one, so let's see. There it is. Lives again. So that's it. Hard to kill the old 3800. Still got to hook the battery back up and still got to put all that stuff together, but this one's fixed. If this video has been helpful in any way, then follow me for more.